Hello and welcome to Star Citizen Sunday. This is a weekly show which covers all the news of Star Citizen from the week just past. I am your host Mac, so let's get on with it. This week, the 3.0 schedule goes live. We see a closer look at the Javelin, plus check out some changes coming to the FPS mechanic. So first up is the biggest and probably the most exciting news. The 3.0 schedule has been released, and there's quite a few changes that we maybe didn't expect. The expected finish date, when it's supposed to be available to everyone, is the 30th of June this year. The Evocati should get their hands on it between the 5th and the 15th of June, and the main PTU release will be the 16th to the 28th of June. Now remember, all these dates are the internal target dates for the developers. Expect pushbacks and delays, but obviously our fingers are crossed that it all works out and comes out when they specified. Now what's expected in the patch has changed as well. The play area to start off 3.0 will only be the Crusader and the 3 landable moons, plus they're hoping to get the Levski landing zone. Chris Roberts did explain the reasoning behind this. I will get to that later on. But the other features include Item 2.0, which brings lots of cool gameplay, including better player control and interactions with their ships, like multi-crew seats, new ships, new vehicles, new weapons, the surface outposts on moons, new mission givers, man turret updates, stamina, cargo, commodities, kiosks, atmospheric entry, plus loads and loads more, especially a lot of backends, which will really help the game run smoother. I have done a quick video already on this, which you can look in the description for the link below. I'm working on a more in-depth video later on. So, in Around the Verse this week, they started by telling us the referral program now will reward anyone who gets a single person to use their code. They will soon be adding new levels to the ladder as well. If you are already at the points for these rewards, then you will get them. There's also a new referral competition coming soon where you can win a pink dragonfly or something. They said they hinted at a pink dragonfly. I have no idea what that means. We'll have to wait and see. But the sale this weekend is for the Dragonfly, the Archimedes, and the Argo. There's also a free fly this weekend as well where you can try out the Super Hornet. So if you are new to Star Citizen and you do not have a game package, sign up using my referral code, as you can see in the top, the left-hand side, I think. And that'll give you 5,000 United Earth credits. Plus, you get to try out the game completely free. But anyway, on to the UK studio update. Starting with the player interaction sprints, they have proceeded on the cockpit. We will be able to interact with individual buttons within the cockpit of the ship. For example, opening the exterior, opening the pilot canopy, or extending the ladder. I am, again, working on a new video for this. It should be coming up sometime next week. The new placement system as well has come online, so you can choose where and to which orientation you want to set objects down. So like we saw this helmet, he picks it up, carries it in his arm, which looks very cool for when you're walking around the place. And then if he wants to put it down, plonks it down, deciding on which way he wants it facing. Now, player status is being worked on. We have normal, tired, and failed. Now, this is when it comes to your fatigue. So if you're trying to jump over an object, you will not be able to. You'll be able to clear it quite smoothly. If you're normal, if you're tired, you'll sluggishly go over it. And if you fail, it means that you're too tired to even mantle an object, which is very good. Suit and weapon mass also has been added to influence stamina. Plus they're creating a new breathing state which affects the aim. Another thing they're working on is new elements like suit punctures, which is when your suit gets pierced from, I would assume, a ballistic weapon or ammunition. Oxygen recharging and depressurization will pursue afterwards. Now I am working on a separate video for the new FPS updates as well. I'm so inspired by this ATV, you'll not believe it. The front end element for kiosk shopping has started. This is setting up UI components like lists, buttons, grids, text fields. After this is hooked up, it'll be the game data. They'll hook up all the game data and get it presentable. Whether or not this is 3.0 commodities we're seeing on screen, I don't know. Hopefully, it'll be interesting to see if they make it into the game for 3.0. They are unifying the way that players will interact with game UI screens as well. This means that the MFDs, or the multifunction displays, or interaction sequences, will be applied to other terminals like kiosks, wall-mounted displays, making interactions feel much less clunky and constrictive, they say. UI have tested helmet interiors to see how well the UI on glass screens will look. This will allow it to render properly and feel more integrated with the actual helmet. Audio has been working on all Star Citizen features, but one in particular is that audio will soon respect walls, doors, and paths, so bouncing off walls and being muffled from behind a door. So, for example, if a sound is playing 4 rooms away, it will travel through the doorways and travel down the corridors, and you'll hear it as accurate as possible to where it's located. Anyway, the concept team have finished off the Gemini ballistic shotgun, and a new ship weapon manufacturer called the Preacher, which is part of the Banu ship, the new Banu ship. Environments have continued on the truck stop interiors, satellite interiors, Microtech Babbage, which is the main landing location in Microtech, and dressing for the modular habitation modules. They're also refining surface outposts with technical engineering and habitation. The exteriors are mostly complete, and now they are looking into better procedural lighting variations to add more complex setups. Truck stop interiors are now set up as well. They're moving into the detailing phase. Satellite models and classifications are being visually explored. The ship team are working on the Hull C and the Reclaimer, and this includes the new lighting controller which we saw in the Caterpillar a few weeks back. And we got to see some interiors there, so I'll just let that play in the background. The Mist Prospector thrusters are having their first pass, and damage block out looks pretty cool. Ready for 3.0. And Engine Trails has had a pass too, which looks very cool. Weapon visual effects have improved their style guide, bringing new systems to help define the visual style of a weapon based on its manufacturer and energy type. The Claus and Werner Gallant energy rifle rework has had its first pass along with the Scourge railgun, and we got to see that firing. It doesn't look very powerful, but I'm sure they're still working on it. Plus the Cossack Arms Devastator plasma shotgun. Now they have rolled out a layered impact library. This is for when your bullets and your energy projectiles hit the actual target that you have dust and sparks flying off. It does look very good. They didn't really show a good example of it here, unfortunately. But after that, we had a really cool Javelin ship shape, which is a closer look at the work that's been done on the Javelin. We saw an elevator. The rear turret is huge. We've got cells for prisoners. Now, thanks to the Aegis, this has been created much quicker. We saw the comparisons between both the Aegis and the Javelin just to show the little differences between the assets they used. They said that each deck, because it's got 3 decks to the Javelin, will feel completely different and unique to each one. The lower deck is engineering, so it's hot and sweaty. The mid deck is habitation, so it feels more first class with no engine noises. Top deck is the tech area with medical, and you can tell where you are in the ship due to the archetypes. They're completely individual. Also, if one section gets damaged, it'll shut itself down with bulkheads, and then an engineer will need to reroute the power. It's got a hangar for a ship, which is elevated. You can land on the surface, and then you're lowered into the interior. There are so many turrets on this Javelin, plus the massive one that's on the rail. It's completely functional now, they say. Fun to run around and have a firefight in. They've changed the cockpit view as well. When we saw it before, there was a big crossbar in the middle which just covered so much of the captain's field of view, so now that's removed. They say it plays an integral role in Squadron 42, so it's very important to get it right. Now, I did do a separate video on the Javelin, just highlighting the updates. It should have gone up yesterday, so do check that out if you have time. So, Star Citizen's Happy Hour this week had guest Vincent Sinatra, Stephen Bender, plus community streamer DJ Knight. Now, they mentioned that for player animation, with the new transitions from running to walking, etc., third person, it looks good, it looks really good, but first person, it feels quite sluggish, so they're just working out ways to make it feel right. Stephen Bender's favourite animation is the reloads on the Bay-Ring weapons, but there's also the stealth kill animation, which looks incredible, but we haven't seen that yet. For female animations, the focus is to ensure that all the male animations are done first, as they can then just apply that to the female character and adjust them and tweak them as necessary. When it comes to player animation customization, so having different animations for your players, which is really cool, they can layer a pose on top of your animations to make it so that everyone isn't stood in the same pose. So if you have a different stance to someone else. The same goes for combat. So he says you may be able to melee in a particular way, but there's an option, he says, where you could potentially acquire different techniques throughout the verse. A bit like Shenmue, where you'd go somewhere, learn something new, and then that would be your melee use from then on. The various melee attacks can affect the design, so you maybe have an advantage with one over the other, and you may get quests to get these different animations. They're only looking into it, it's not 100% guaranteed, but that's what they're looking to do. And he did say that there will be ways to make people walk, stand, move, all different, rather than everyone just walking in the same stance and running in the same stance. That will really break the game feeling. It will just keep the immersion locked tight, because people will move differently as they do in the real world. So when it comes to the interactions with items, so far what we have seen is when he goes to pick something up, he doesn't physically grab it, it kind of teleports into his hand. The intent is to animate your character to actually connect with the items he picks up. They're just trying to eliminate the gaminess so that it looks realistic. So that will be coming down the line. Injured movement animations are still in development. They're on the schedule for later this year, and it's still possible to drag down allies. There's also an animation for it's called stock relaxed, and this is a safety way of carrying your weapon. So it's downed, it's relaxed, it's not pointing up like we currently have at the moment. That is coming down. It's already in the dev branch, so hopefully it'll be in 3.0. They're focusing on the combat speeds for enter and exit in the cockpits, but they are looking into the overall cockpit experience. In fact, I've got a video coming out sometime this week which will look at the cockpit interactions a bit more further. They have all the assets for this, they just need to finalise them. There's also a design in place, and he believes it's on the schedule for EVA, using your arms and things if you've not got a weapon to sort of manoeuvre yourself around areas, so you'll push off from a wall rather than just bouncing into it. That should be coming down the line soon. We don't know when though. And finally, they are working on the stamina systems like what we saw in Around the Verse, which includes the energy. So when it comes to reloading, he's not sure whether it'll affect reloading. So like maybe if you're really exhausted, will you reload slower? He can't say that. He doesn't know. But I do like this whole stamina system. It looks so realistic. Okay, so with the release of the 3.0 schedule, Chris Roberts wrote a letter, and it mentions that for the release of 3.0, it will debut with the 3 moons around Crusader, so Selin, Daymar, and Yela, but they are also hoping to get the planet-like asteroid Delamar and its landing zone, Levski. The universe will expand throughout the year to include the other Stanton systems and landing zones. They did want to include the whole of the Stanton system, but unfortunately, the environmental team who were outsourced from Behaviour wanted to work on their own game, so CIG had to hire their own in-house team, which they are now up to 37 artists, and rather than making everyone wait for the landing zones to be completed, they decided to push it out as the planetary tech is pretty much ready to go. They feel that including us in the community as soon as possible is the best course of action, as things can get finished and polished quicker, and I 100% agree. So this is why we haven't got the whole Stanton system, but now that we've got the in-house 37 artists, they should come a lot quicker. But because of planets and moons, they are so big, they need us all to help test them, and by big, he means that it takes about 4.5 hours to circumnavigate Selin, one of the moons around Crusader, in a Dragonfly at full afterburn speed, or 12 days walking around it. And if every single person registered, so 1.7 million people stood on the same moon at the same distance, you would not be able to see each other. That's how big these places are, and that's just a moon. Now, the other systems are just as important as planets. Things like Item 2.0, which include the new player interaction mode, the Entity Owner Manager, which allows for the state of players, ships, items to persist no matter where they are in the verse. The new dynamic physics grid as well, that handles the needs for the planets and space. Cargo and kiosks, allowing players to earn money as a trader, a hauler, or a pirate. The new Mobiglass app for hiring mercenaries, bounty hunters, etc. And Subsumption mission system provides scalable and flexible AI systems, plus a load more. But anyway, that was the gist of what he said in this letter. Let me know your thoughts, guys. So, as some of you may know, I will be heading to Manchester on Friday the 21st to attend the BritizenCon on the Saturday and get a studio tour of Manchester Studio on the Monday. Because of this, Star Citizen Sunday will not be up next week, but I am scheduling a few videos that I have ready to go live while I'm away, plus work on as many of them when I get back before I head off to Scotland for a week on the 1st of May. While I'm down in Manchester, I will be live streaming as much as possible, so be sure to follow me on Twitch if you want to see what it's all about. Plus, I will be recording a lot of footage, or as much footage as I can get on my phone, for a vlog. On the 21st, on the Friday the 21st, we will be in Wilmslow as we've organised a Bar Citizen. So anyone who wants to attend, please do stop by. It's at the Brewhouse and Kitchen in Wilmslow. Check out my Discord if you want to know more information. We're always on there trying to help out. Remember, courtesy of my patrons, I'm giving away a Star Citizen starter package. Commenting on any of my videos throughout the course of April and being a subscriber to the channel will enter you for the draw, which I shall draw at the end of the month, after which I'll start a new giveaway. Tweeting, sharing and following me on other platforms found below won't better your chances, but it would be super awesome of you. So that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for watching, and thank you to our subscribers, plus a massive thank you to our patrons as you make this possible. If you like what we do and want to help us make it better, follow the link in the description to our Patreon page to learn more.